Welcome.
Our honorable participants for this meeting, me along with Dr. Kusumoto from ABDA, we say hello to all of you, to all our friends from India and abroad. I think ABDA has taken the right decision to hold it in India, New Delhi. Especially, I know when there was a demand or request by our African friends, they want to visit India, they want to see progressing India, developing India, and also how the social issues are being tackled in India. So now I request the Honorable the Minister, Union Minister, as well as the other dignitaries, please come and I tell them to start.
Yes.
Now, Madam Vipul Thakur, a very fiery parliamentarian in the House, and I think she'll be okay here.
Good morning, everyone. I hope the delegates who have come from far away have a comfortable stay and nice sleep. Honorable Chief Guest, Union Minister for Minority Affairs, Shri Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, Riko Meshuka, Sen, Member of Parliament and former Minister of Japan, Excellencies, Honorable Ambassador of participating countries, Mary Rose Effa, Member of Parliament of Cameroon and President of Africa Parliamentary Forum on Population and Development. Ms. Ina Singh, Assistant Representative of UNFPA India. Mr. Avinash Rai Khanna, former Member of Parliament and Vice Chairman of IAPPT and Indian Red Cross also. Honorable Members of Parliament from Africa, Asia and Europe, participating in this conference on enhancing the role of parliamentarians in the interlinkage between population issues and 2030 agenda of sustainable development, and Mr. Manmohan Sharma, Secretary of IPPD. On behalf of Indian Parliament Association of Parliamentary and Population Development, IAPPD, the Asian Population of Development of Association, APDA, it is my great privilege to extend a very warm welcome to all of you in this part of the world.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all very much for your attendance at this conference. The Asian Population and Development Association, which organized this conference, was established for the purpose of providing support with the establishment in 1982 of the Asian Forum of Parliamentarians on Population and Development, and providing support for the parliamentarians achieved on the population and sustainable development based on scientific and social scientific research. IAPPD, which is hosting this conference, is a founding member of AAPPD and has played a core role in this activity. I point out in particular that Honorable Professor P.G. Krier, Chair of IAPPD, has been serving AAPPD as its Vice Chair since my time as AAPPD Chair. In addition, Mr. Mohan Sharma, by achieving greater efforts to tackle population issues and providing catalyst was an achievement of SDGs. It would provide no greater delight to APDA to know that as the organizer of this conference, it has been instrumental in providing a population or building that hope. Thank you.
Honorable Member of Parliament, dear participants, and in your title and quality, Excellency, Delegate, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very grateful to be speaking to you all in this third part of financing the role of parliamentarians and intellectual population issue conference. The African Parliamentarian Forum and Development on Population and Development is a regional network of parliamentarians that support advocacy on population and development issues in Africa and has been existent since 2012. Quality health care service, quality education, and build economic drives of society for a better future.
Honorable Mr. Naqvi, Honorable Mr. Mashiko, Honorable Madam Effa, Ms. Thakur, Mr. Khanna, Mr. Sharma, and all our guests from near and far. I will welcome you to India, this land which is rich not only in material wealth and outer wealth, but also in the inner wealth which we all seek, the secrets of peace and happiness. I would like to greet you in the traditional way in India, which is with Namaste, which means the divine in me bows to the divine in you. We open the meeting again with something very traditional in India. The light signifies knowledge, and I hope that this light will be present and pervading the discussions that take place over the next 2 or 3 days and your visit in.
Biplov Thakurji, Vice Chairman, Mr. Avinash Rai Khanna Sahab, Mr. Mashiko, Ms. Mary Rose, Ina Singh ji, and ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I wanted to congratulate the Indian Association of Parliamentarians on Population and Development. And also I salute the commitment of the organization as well as all people who associated with this mission. Houses, members are representative of the both houses, and not only both houses, the representative of the different political parties are also here. The BJP, which is the ruling party, the Congress party, which is the main opposition party, and other political parties representatives are also attending this very important and very useful discussion and conference. I also wanted to thanks and congratulate and my good wishes for the success of this conference. Thank you.
First of all, we would like to express our great gratitude to Honorable Cabinet Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, with whom I got a chance to work in Parliament, Rajya Sabha, as a Chief Whip. He is a man with kind heart and sporting nature, and I am also thankful for giving the policies of the central government to all of you. I also thank to Honorable Fukudo and former Prime Minister of Japan and Chair APDA for sending his best message to us. We also thank Honorable Irko Hasiko, MP and former Minister Japan, and Honorable Mary Rose, IPA MP Cameroon, and President APFPD to address this session and getting the contest of conference. In this regard, our thanks to Ms. Ina Singh, Assistant Representative of UNFPA India. We thank to Biplov Thakurji, MP and Vice Chair IEAPPD for delivering his welcome address.
And
Thank you.
Build society on our small planet where people can live with dignity sustainably. From that perspective, it can be said that population in and of itself has become the overall goal of Agenda 2030's SDGs. Population issues deal with only two things, birth and death. Put it in extreme terms, population is comprised only of birth and death.
出生の面に関して言えば、望まない妊娠を防ぐことが最も中心的な課題であり、すべての人があらゆるサービスを享受できることが最も基本的な条件になります。そのためには、それが可能になるように立法や予算措置を行うこと、そして命の尊厳に対する正確な認識を持つという意味での性教育を行うことが重要になります。IAPPD に心よりの御礼を申し上げたいと思います。
In the areas of population development, lastly, I'd like to cordially thank both the Parliament of India and IAPPD for their enormous cooperation in making this conference a reality.
Along with the population growth, the food supply issue becomes an issue, but the population growth can also be accompanied by the what is known as the population harm and the crisis it takes. I'll give an example. My own country, Nepal, and Sri Lanka in last one generation suffered serious civil unrest and civil conflict. You have to focus both on the food supply and demand situation, but also look at the employment creation potentials for the youth, because the youth bulge is going to come in your country as well. Each one of our countries will face the youth bulge, and then our job as a parliamentarian, as a policymaker of the country, is to overcome that, foresee that, and forestall that. Thank you.
We're talking about populations. Populations consist of people, obviously. And there are many factors that affect people. And as parliamentarians, you know this in your day-to-day job when you make your legislation and how you interact with your constituencies and within your countries. So things that affect directly populations and populations also affect include things like climate change, political unrest that was just made mention of by my predecessor, migration patterns, and really resource availability and allocation in a country is based on population demand and population need. And government policies also are linked directly in towards this. You are all responsible for making these policies and these legislations. And I want to just try to bring in the angle that almost everything that you do has a direct, if not an indirect, effect on availability of food and also distribution of food in your countries and in your respective regions. Especially if you are doing it in a democracy. This is the largest democracy in the world.
In this short amount of time, I hope to cover a limited number of things. Firstly, I'll say something about what we mean by inclusive and sustainable growth, particularly in relation to decent work. Then something about what the nations of the world and the UN has come to agree with respect to this matter, particularly in terms of the goals, targets, and indicators of the Sustainable Development Agenda. And thirdly, I will make some observations about what countries may need to do in order to achieve these goals. So firstly, what is inclusive about inclusive growth? The growth of output may or may not be sustainable. Growth that is dependent on volatile external circumstances, aid or borrowing, may be less sustainable. And even when sustainable, growth may or may not be inclusive.
Now, when we look at reproductive, maternal, newborn, child and adolescent health, or RMNCAH is how I'm going to refer to during my presentation, what was very clear in 2015 when we were looking at in terms of the progress that had been made in terms of the Millennium Development Goals, its most developing countries did not come close to achieving the MDG targets for maternal and child health. And it's not like they were off by a small margin. One saw that, the red bars shows the proportion of countries that was seriously off target for attaining those SDGs. And all of this needs a very, very strong governance that comes from the country, is how this works.
It is So malnutrition can really, it depends on how you want to define it. It can be either the under or the over, but it is definitely malnutrition. So you have to look at it and address it. And this is something which is just coming up now. We know about the undernutrition, but the overnutrition is something which is just coming on the radar. This is the time to understand it and how it's happening in your countries so you can begin to make policies against this.
My name is Lopa Mudra and I work at Population Foundation of India. My question is to Mr. Max to know. I do understand that in the space of the 10 minutes that you were speaking to us, there wasn't much that you could cover on the gender aspect of speaking of on decent work and how also repeated childbearing deters women and is a barrier for women to enter the labor force directly and sustainably. So if you could throw some light on that.
I want you to know that I think in order for you to make a law, you have to have the evidence, the statistics showing you, where the wastage is, who is wasting, which communities, where is it plenty, where is it less, how do you move, surplus, which is the wasted here, to another community within your country and things like that. So I think this is something that has to be looked at country by country basis. But more importantly, I think
to introduce the first presenter, he's going to talk on the RH-centered UHC as the basic condition of national development.
The subject is a reproductive health-centered universal health coverage is the basic conditions of national development. In the same way, because of health problems, stunting, impaired cognitive developments, risk of non-communicable diseases in the adults will increase. That will give rise to less educational achievements and labor force participation will go down. And all these diminished labor force participation will increase the chances of reduced productivity, and it will again, a vicious cycle, poor women's health will again lead to bad maternal health.
The goal that was it was so defined that it is encompassing almost all aspects of education. The way it was described, it has at least 4 important key words: inclusive education, equitable education, quality education, and lifelong learning. And lifelong learning includes almost all levels of education, from pre-primary to higher levels, and even beyond higher levels of education. So I feel that the goal should be defined as something like not education for all, that we have been talking for quite some time, because that did not serve the purpose very well. And it should be defined as inclusive, equitable, quality education for all.
Parliamentarians, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me first thank the organizers for this opportunity. Very happy to be here among such a distinguished and knowledgeable crowd. I'm acutely aware of the time, and so I feel, for those of you familiar with cricket, like somebody coming in the slog overs. So I've got to score quickly and finish the overs fast. So a few points briefly. I am not using a presentation partly for time, but partly by choice, and just want to make a few key points which I thought I would use this opportunity to share with you. We're worried about the growth of population, worried about our population numbers being very large, and we're wondering where we are going. Today, increasingly, the momentum, we have not reached anywhere where we need to be, but the momentum is so strong that clearly, as we have seen in India, where more than, as you heard this morning, 2/3 of the states have already reached the replacement level. You just saw the figures also on the chart. We've got much to do in India. The good part is that with worldwide global spread of this, the very scale of global production is bringing prices down hugely. And the private sector in India, to the story, is the same.
This is just a map of Zambia for those who don't know. Those hide dark areas are the rural provinces of Zambia, and that is where the average number of children born to one woman is very high in the rural areas. You can see up to 7.1, 7.3 in some provinces. This is the current population structure in Zambia. Zambia has a very young population. I think 82% of the population is below the age of 35, so very, very young. And if you look at this population, we have a youth bulge at the bottom. So 0 up to about 30, 35 is very, very big. You know, we have very few old people in Zambia. I am 44 years old, so I'm one of the oldest people in Zambia. This is just the population size of Zambia from 2011 up to the projections. We project that the population can go up to almost 27 million by 2035.
The allocation for the health budget, if it is less, I don't think we will be able to provide good health services in the country. And it should be in proportionate to GDP. That is very important. And what can be done in national health policy, now we have increased the budget from we want to increase the budget from 1.15% to 2.5%. So that is we want to double the budget. And this is very important because many times we feel that everything is expensive, but we do not allocate anything in the budget to improve the situation. And that concept should go, because the feeling is that only thing is health is a such thing that you just have to go on investing, or you just have to put money in that department, but that is not true.
I didn't ring the bell. And also, and also because he mentioned his wife and his CV, which is great from a great man, actually.
In behalf of the Forum of Arab Parliamentarians on Population and Development, I would like to thank and appreciate the Asian Population and Development Association actually for their support. And I would like to thank all the organizers. Special thanks also to the government and the people of India for the hospitality and for the good time we're having together. Actually, last July we had a meeting in Jordan. It was really a fruitful meeting, and I would love to see us getting to many of these meetings in order to get together as parliamentarians of how we can really share and manage and contribute in the population issue the right manner. Today I will be a little bit talking about the health coverage and reproductive health, and I will just present the case of Jordan.
And I tell you, please, group photo, yeah.
Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, we all are aware of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and roles in achieving 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development adopted at the United Nations Sustainable Development Summit on 25th September 2015.
We also have offices all across India. So we have about 69 offices in the country. So we are at the grassroots level working with industry and with the different stakeholders. We also have 9 offices outside the country, some of which also in areas from where you today come. What we do here in CII, as the chair kindly introduced, we have a Center of Excellence for Sustainable Development, and the entire objective of creating and the purpose of creating this Center of Excellence for Sustainable Development, which CII created about 12 years ago, and before that also, as he introduced, we started our work on sustainable development way back when Rio Summit was happening in 1992, and the entire objective has been to help business understand and mainstream sustainable development issues in their business strategies itself.
I work with an NGO called the Population Foundation of India, which was set up 50 years ago by Mr. J.R.D. Tata, one of the people who, in Indian industry, he gave direction to Indian industry, and he was one of the iconic industrialists. PFI, the objective of setting PFI was to look at family planning issues, women's health issues, but in the development context.
Consisted of 52 episodes, dealt with age at marriage. It focuses on nutrition, reproductive health, mental health, hygiene, and substance abuse.
बनूंगी मैं प्रधानमंत्री.
48% men watch the program.
Particularly, the role what the government of India is playing in the sustainable development goals. In fact, Seema has made my job a little easy because she has covered a lot of things. I mean, they are mentioned in that booklet. In fact, we from Niti Aayog. I don't know, Sharma ji had sent a lot of booklets, in fact. And this, what we did, we have thousands of booklets we have already distributed in the country. It's a pocket booklet, in fact, which talks about the various goals and targets. And in fact, if you go through that, there are about 20 targets like youth, reducing the unemployment in the youth, or reducing the accidents and the global deaths from the road accidents, etc. Like
because head of the Niti Aayog advisor to Niti Aayog, Mr. Jain is here. Crime approach, drug approach, and tobacco approach, which was behavior change. We were talking of behavior change.
Invite the chair of this session, Honorable Larry P. Yokyui from Lebanon.
Well, like I said earlier, we have three distinguished speakers. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me also, in a special way, recognize my continent president, Mali, and all the members present in here. As what the chair said, I'm Poch Bingu, Member of Parliament from Malawi, and 1/3 of it is water, the beautiful Lake Malawi, which has got a fresh water. When you visit the place, you don't need to take the bottles of water. You just take and drink, very safe. We've got a very beautiful hills, like Mulanje Mountain, which is the 3rd largest mountain in Africa.
My name's Senator Fred Outa from Kenya, East Africa. First, I want to thank our chair this morning, and I want to join my colleagues in wishing you well for the long-awaited, and it's only next month that you'll be approaching the electorates, to give you another time to work for them. I know it is a very challenging time. In Kenya, we just came, we have not even concluded our elections in Kenya.
My esteemed colleagues from the Parliament, Vice Chair Viplav Thakurji, Khannaji, distinguished guests present here from various countries, and all the sponsoring agencies, contributing agencies, Namaskaram. It is indeed a great pleasure and honor for me to be associated with IAPPD and represent India at this forum to present the role of parliamentarians in good governance and domestic investment promotion in this August gathering. In this, if the world can see itself in a mirror, that image exactly looks like this. Yes, today this is a apolitical gathering of parliamentarians from different parts of the globe.
Anybody who is going to work against the Constitution, or anybody who found with corruption acts, the president will never defend him. And that's why when it comes to the oversight role by the parliament, the president does not interfere. And if the issue is involving the minister, what he does is to allow that minister to step down.
Not only in terms of the capital, but also of more creation of job employment to our people in Kenya. And so we have come up with a number of acts, even for the export, what we call EPZ, whereby the investors, for example, Taiwan's government, they have a number of companies.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased and that I'm honored to be a moderator today. And it's my first time being in India. And trust me, I enjoy every single hour staying here. It's a so sunny country and so warm-hearted people here. And thank you every single person who who joined and who organized this conference for us, who's been here serving, helping, and giving us information on what's happening here. Thank you very much. So let me invite here three dear guests, three speakers. And this is Mr. Ahmad Husni Mohammad Hanadzla,
Afro-Asian congregation since yesterday focusing on the scope of global goals, achievement in the given environment, ecosystem and architecture of the respective nations and other neighborhood nations with the Africanization has been reflected in this tiny room of Indian capital to inspire us towards
a lot during the last few weeks. And I'm so sorry that this morning I suffered from jet lag. I hope I will not fall asleep during my presentation. Yeah. Madam Chairperson, colleagues, members of Parliament from various countries, observers, ladies and gentlemen. When I was the second finance minister for 7 years until I stepped down last year, I've been traveling to India a lot, practically every year, to attend financial summit in New Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, Calcutta. But since the last 15 months after I've stepped down, this is the first invitation that I received. I told my wife and my colleague, we must go to India because we love India. So thank you very much for the invitation. And of course, I love to meet members of Parliament.
The dais, Honorable Member of Parliament, official from IAPPD, APTA, UNFPA, IPPF, JPFP, distinguished guests, media personalities, Assalamu alaikum and Namaskar. It is my great privilege and honor to be here with you. I would like to acknowledge my gratitude to the organizer of the program, especially Mr. Manmohan Sharma, Executive Secretary of IAPPD, who has given tremendous effort for the success of this program. I am very much grateful to him for his cordial hospitality. I would also like to acknowledge my gratitude on behalf of our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and our people of Bangladesh.
And our focus towards the right to food is confined to the highly deprived. And right to health is also likewise having the larger role with the expanse of the real expanse of the medical facility and the capacity to
अरे सुनो उसको जो बैठे ना उदयपुर वाला उसको बोले सेशन चेयर करोगे उदयपुर. Yes, thank you very much.
Chairing session number 1 on the topic of implications of population issues for achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And I invite Dr. Abhay Kumar to give a brief about outcomes of session number 1.
Honorable members of parliamentarians, other distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be on this podium and present the synthesis report of the first session of the conference. The first session was on the implications of population issues for achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The session was chaired by Honorable Dr. Sharif Rahimjoda, MP, Tajikistan. The session had 4 presentations on 3 different themes. The themes were food security and hunger, improving nutrition, and the presenters were Dr. Shyam Kharka, Country Representative, Food and Agriculture Organization, India, and Dr. Hamid Nuru, the UN WFP Country Representative, India. On the theme of job opportunities for inclusive and sustainable growth, Max Mr. Max Tunon, Migration Specialist, International Labour Organization.
So we had three speakers. Dr. Basab Gupta, Deputy Commissioner, Urban Health, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Dr. B.J. Tilak, Distinguished Professor, Council for Social Development, New Delhi. And finally, Mr. Kiran Karnik, President, Indian Habitat Center, Chairperson, Oxfam, and Indraprastha Institute of Information Technology here in Delhi. The first speaker, Dr. Gupta, spoke on reproductive health-centered UHC as the basic condition for national development. In his presentation, Dr. Gupta covered many areas, and including, the centrality of universal health coverage.
Yeah, I'm happy to come back, and I'm pleased to invite Dr. Narain and Dr. Kumar, which was already produced by Mike.
Dr. J.S. Yadav has 35 plus years of experience in teaching, training, research, and consultancy in development communication. He has extensive experience in advocacy, campaign design, and capacity building for social behavior change communication.
Without compromising with the environmental degradation and any kind of man-made disasters during the process. The discussion was led by three eminent scholars, bureaucrats, administrators, all combined, that is Ms. Seema Arora, Ms. Poonam Mukherjee, and Dr. Ashok Kumar Jain. Speaking on the role of business and industry impacting global compact and sustainable development goals.
Foreign direct investment. To begin with, 17 SDGs were explained that how they are interlinked, 1 to 7. One leads to another and depends upon the other. And as such, because all are linked, global participation is essential, and without that participation, success may not be easy, I won't say difficult. Hence, collaboration becomes the key of this particular session. Now, all this is three particular issues were highlighted.
Parliamentarian from Kyrgyzstan to come and invite the experts to.
And session 6 was about the role of legislation to achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And we had three nice speakers, Mr. Ahmad Muhammad Khanadzla, Muhammad Anam Rahman, and Ananda Bhaskarapuli. So for summarizing.
To use their CSR funds, part of the CSR funds, corporate social responsibility funds, to strengthen the program for better achievements of SDGs. And they also said it's necessary that we should try to involve all the sectors in this effort, and that may require, I think, some of the actions was reported by one of the speakers, Mr. Jain, who is coordinating in Niti Aayog this.
Dr. Nangia, Dr. Abhay Kumar. They are our parliamentarian. I don't know. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Have a
We are not the same again. And all the knowledge and what we have learned here has already impacted our countries where we come from. And so thank you for your dedication to this conference. Also, let me also acknowledge.
And because of the why we are putting on this kind of the Cairo, ICPD and ICPPD, that is a very important implications. Because of the, until the Cairo, and our activities is not focused on the context of the sustainable development. Now, but until Cairo, at least when we decided the several parliamentarians activities in the direction in the Cairo, it was clearly located under the sustainable development context. Because of the Cairo conference itself is the meaning of the Cairo conference, International Conference of Population Development. And nowadays, our purpose is to promote or proceed Agenda 2030. Therefore, we need to revive about this kind of Cairo conference, the implication of the Cairo conference to the sustainable development. Because of the other big activities, a big effort of the parliamentarians of the Cairo, we can contribute a very big part of the ICPD POA, especially for the preamble and the principle. It means that the philosophy of the ICPD.
Till the end of this SDGs in Africa, this full sentence needs to be think over in the perspective of Africa, whether it is to be,
Yes.
shall be there or not.
So
I
the-
leave it to the friends of Africa.
The principle remains the same, but need to be
Yeah, if it could
enhanced.
Be, it could be as it is removed, but it shall be there as per the point of view of total African friends, it is well and good.
We,
the parliamentarians, should strive to promote, not to, for strive for promoting.
Strive
to promote.
I will request our Vice Chair, Madam Biplab Thakurji, and thank you, Biplabji. Please. No, better no. Now.
Have been effective to establish a good knowledge with regard to the ongoing efforts. I'm also grateful to all participants for our dedication, efficiently, and hard work. I wish you all safe journey home. Since I don't know if you'll see, I will have the occasion to tell you that tomorrow.
IPPF, as you know by now, they are partner in a big way with APDA.
Honorable Mary Rose, Honorable Professor P.G. Korean, Honorable Dr. Toshiko Abe, Honorable Biplab Thakur, and my dear friend Mr. Manmohan Sharma, and honorable members of Parliament and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am confident that this will lead to strengthening an inclusive movement to fulfill human rights of the most underserved population. Thank you very much.
Honorable Dr. Toshiba Abe, Member of Parliament and former Minister of Japan. Honorable Maria Rose, MP, Cameroon, President of African Parliamentary Forum on Population Development. Mr. Varun Kumar Anand, Acting Regional Director, International Planned Parenthood Federation, Bangkok. Srimati Biplava Thakur, the vibrant MP of the Rajya Sabha, who even though looks to be lovely and friendly to me now, but in the house who fights with me like anything. And Mr. Manmohan Sharma, who is the force behind all these activities, who is a real person behind. And not only behind, in front also. So, and excellencies and ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I tender my apology. Enhancing the role of parliamentarians in the interlinkage between population issues and 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. According to the concept paper to the conference, India is the world's, even otherwise, India is the world's largest democracy and home to 1.3 billion people, which is bigger than the whole of African population. Being a highly diverse country with a diversity of culture, language and ethnicities, India now enjoys one of the fastest economic growths. And some countries have reached partially reasonably good, and some countries have not even reached 50%, lagging behind. That should not happen in the case of SDGs. At least here we have Asia and Africa represented. And most of the poor nations are in Asia and Africa. Let us take a determination that yes, we will force our government so that SDG is achieved by 2030. This conference is an impetus, an encouragement for that. With these words, I thank all of you for giving your indulgence to me. Thank you very much. Have a best day here. With these words, I conclude. Thank you very much.
Namaste. Mera naam Abe hai. Fellow parliamentarian, distinguished delegate, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to offer a few words in the closing at the conclusion of this conference for parliamentarians from Africa and Asia, working in the field of population and development. This has been our first time that Africa-Asia Inter-Regional Parliamentarian Conference on Population and Development has been held in India. And it has given us the opportunity to learn growth and development taking place in this country.
And this is my first time to express officially to present my opinion my thanks to the all participants to participating in this meeting. And we really appreciate all the parliamentarians very busy, and most of the parliamentarians sharing our ideas and visions, and to gathering here and discuss very strong initiative of Professor Kurien and my dear friend Manmohan Sharma and his team. I would like to express my heartfelt and appreciation from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. And I would like to express not only officially as an organizer of this conference of APDA, but also my private appreciation to Mr. Manmohan Sharma. When I joined the APDA, he is already working for this field. We are working around more than 30 years working for this field. Without Sharma-san, we cannot work like this kind of success, I think. Thank you again. I have no word to express my sincere thanks to all of you, but I would like to say thank you again. Thank you very much.
Institution where only the girl child can study medical education. So with that intention, the institution was formed, and first batch was taken in 16.
The drink is good. Thank you.
Why always you? Without that. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
This institution is under the central government and working in the shadow of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Important member in the committee. Then Trained Nurses Association of India, which is again a big body in nursing area. She's there. And also with Indian Association of Neonatal Nursing. So we are contributing little bit to our country in that way.
Here in as per Indian Nursing Council, non-teaching hospital there are 5 patients for 1 nurse. Whereas in a teaching hospital 3 patients for 1 nurse. Because some responsibility towards students are also there. So extra strength will be there and student will be able to learn and observe right from the first year.
You bring people and you wash them here.
You can see the computer lab. When 20 students. No. What happens?
When there are 2-3 ovum, when they are like fertilized, then it sits over here only, and this is which we call it twin pregnancy, twin or triplets or that or pregnancy. Then also they sit in this only.
Anatomy lab. Anatomy models for the children to study in first year. They will study anatomy na.
Picture?
Yes.
I am Dr. Jagdish Chandra. By training I am a pediatrician. For 30 years I am in this institution and I joined as director only about 1.5 years back.
I am member of Economic and Fiscal Policy Department and also head of the Women Parliamentarians. This is my first time being in India.
From Asian Population Development Association.
This conference. Thank you very much for welcoming us.
We also have a very strong center of excellence for HIV care, which initially started in 2006 when President Clinton inaugurated the pediatric HIV services in India. Because in this part of the country, the overall prevalence in the population is just about 0.2% or so. So there is no point, it's not cost effective to investigate each and every individual.
Ministry of Health, and there are skill council also gives the things, and then they after that course they will get registered.
Is approved by the
Thank you so much.
Please. Okay.
They use this type of paper, which is used for printing. So this is a swell paper, except that this paper is very expensive. This part.
Yes, so particular this device is smart care, but the other information. Yes.
So actually there was another challenge to Excel. So this is the input button. So if I write something, the device will take notes here. So I'll also show something. So you can see the text coming here. So
we'll start with a small film on IIT Delhi.
To teaching excellence. Of academic excellence, IIT Delhi lays strong emphasis on cutting-edge and interdisciplinary. When partners join hands, vision turns into reality. II Portfolio.
Institute. Many of our projects also have the international kind of funding. So many projects our faculty members currently working on are also from various countries. That way, these are all in a way global interests. We hope to take these technologies, develop prototypes, install them in the villages, and then learn from that experience, so that with the help of many ministries in Delhi, we will be able to spread that whole technology all across the country, and thereby to improve the quality of life. That is also one of the major initiatives of Government of India, which I.
Okay. Thank you, sir. She is the Honorable MP from UAE, youngest MP. Maro.
Okay.
Side. Put it side first.
Parliamentarians to make self-reflection so that each one or the other one is quickly one round will have. Okay? Yeah. This will be useful.
Being not a successful and very useful conference for parliamentarians hosted by Indian Association of Parliamentarians and